Okay. Okay, kung sa tayo mong sulti, what did you say?
Ito, ang imong brother, was that Janet? Imong brother?
Jenar, si Boots? Yeah, he's my brother.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know if you remember me. Kay I left the Philippines 15 years old pa ko ning larga. It was 1972. But back
Are you
then,
the older? Are you the
Huh?
older brother?
Yeah, I'm
Are
the
you
older, 1 year older than Boots. But
yeah,
anyway, I met you sa Pilipinas when they used to have kanang
parties in your house?
parties, house parties ba?
House
When
parties.
the mga babae separate, mga
Oo.
lalaki separate, and then when they turn off
Yes.
the light, everybody
Yes.
dance with each other. I don't know if you remember that time, pero
I do. That's why I was saying, Mario, weren't you chubby a bit?
no, that's not. My nickname was Junjun. They call me Junjun. I don't know if you
Oh,
remember. Yeah, but that was years ago. That was back in the
yeah,
early 70s. I left the
yeah.
Philippines 1972. So, pero okay, let's basically start. I'll just give you a background, okay? Ngano I do these interviews. Um,
No.
I want to record people's lives, pero remember YouTube is part of Google. So when people if they mangita bitaw silang mga tao, when you Google somebody, YouTube's gonna come out. So if I put your name in Banet Colmenares, because this is a YouTube
Mm-hmm.
channel, it's gonna come out eventually.
Mm.
So I have to put your name there. So ang mahitabuan your family, your great grandkids, it's gonna be in the cloud. So
Okay.
if they wanna look for you, if they wanna find out about you, about your life, all you have to do is Google
About
you,
my
and
life.
it's gonna come out. I mean,
Oh.
Facebook is something else, but this one is because they can hear it from your mouth ba, ang imong story. So,
Yeah, because I'm also with a friend. I belonged to the Phil Press Club of New York.
okay. Uh-huh.
And then I have my friend, my BFF, Marivier Montivon. We used to have a podcast. She used to tape also, record and everything, but she's more into it. And I was more busy. So, she just did it herself and kind of very, very, successful in her
Yes.
lines. More or less, I know what you call this, how it works. The only
Uh-huh.
thing I was wondering na, when I looked at your site, it's puro cyber. You go, I don't want to invest, but anyway, you said no.
I'm glad you mentioned that. So I have to plug it in a little bit, So I promise you, I'm not going to talk about Bitcoin, but
Okay,
let me mention Bitcoin at least once.
this
Now that I
one.
mention it out of the way. Okay, anyway, I want to start talking about you. So, don't worry about me because it's this one things about you. Um, my first question to you is I want you to tell us about yourself, like about your childhood, where you went to school and where you were born. So we'll start with that, and then before we start getting into, your achievements basically.
No, excuse me. Okay, so let me just start with because actually right excuse me, excuse me. Right
Oh,
now
okay.
I'm collating already my book.
Okay.
I have a book. It's called Rags from Riches to Rags.
Oh, okay. From riches
Yeah,
to rags. Baliktad.
Riches to Rags, and then wait a minute, yeah, from riches to rags to riches. So it's a 360 because you must remember when I was in Cebu,
Mhm.
we were in that group na, we came from uh, private schools. We hung
Right.
around people with a good economic background. And so
Right.
we were okay, right? At
Yes.
15, we were able to go to the States.
Uh-huh.
So it's a feat to go to the States, right?
Uh-huh.
So that was where our history comes in. So where I studied in St. Teresa's College, an exclusive girls' school, and I'm sure you went to an exclusive boys' school.
Yeah, I went to Sacred Heart. So,
Yes, with see
yeah.
that's where we grew up. And
Uh-huh.
then after that, so we were we already started as entrepreneurs. We already started as one who would be bosses in our own cities, right?
Yes.
Where we started. Then when things got rough, the first thing we do is to go to the States.
Okay, so is
So
that what happened? Basically,
yeah, well, that
you
was the time after 911. We were,
okay.
we were an exporter. My husband and I, we were both exporters. So when 911 came, you know, those who were borrowing money in dollars had to pay us in dollars. So the economy for us wasn't good. So,
Mhm.
and besides, I was so um, burnt out that I said, okay, this is enough for me. I don't want to, I don't want this anymore. I don't want to be a businessman anymore. So I come to the States. So
Okay.
in the States, I started with nothing.
Okay.
The real reason why I came to the States was also one of my friends from the, I became a fundamentalist, by the way,
Oh,
had
what? I'm sorry.
fundamentalist.
Okay.
Check St. Teresa's, Catholic Cerrado de Candado.
Okay.
So that was our history. Then I joined the born again movement. I became a fundamentalist, and one of my mission trips, an American gave me a job. You want to
Mm.
come to the States? I'll give you a job. So I did.
Okay.
So I start. I, st- excuse me. Give me 1 minute.
Okay.
Okay. So thank you. So I became a secretary, from a boss to a secretary. Okay. So I
Okay.
had some nice three area computer, and I was doing telemarketer,
Okay.
actually physicians something. Hold on. Can you wait a minute, huh? Excuse me. Okay, I'm back. Sorry.
Okay.
Anyway, I became a secretary, and then I said I didn't like the job.
Mm.
You know, when you're in the Philippines, you're so up and about, and then you're in your desk, boring. So what do you call this? I resigned. And when my son said, Mom, our papers are ready, we're going to New York. I said, okay, I'll follow you. So we lived in New York. My husband and I got an apartment, and my son had his own apartment too.
Okay.
Um, and then from there, what did I do? I started from the bottom. I
Okay.
started as a nanny. When I went to a recruitment office, I looked for a job, and the lady who was a Filipina says, "Oh, our job opening is a nanny." I said, "I don't watch kids in my home, in my country. I haven't watched my kid." So, but then I needed a job. You know, when you're in the States, you really need a job, right?
Yes.
Regardless of what you have to do, you have to earn money. So
Mhm.
I became a nanny. I became a nanny for 8 years, and I
Okay.
said I enjoyed it so much. Uh, taking care of a blonde-haired, blue-eyed baby. Boy, was that parang, mura bag, akong galba.
Oh.
Sabi so nindot ka ito, no? And
Mm.
then, my boss was also one of the best boss I had,
Mhm.
because, he was, the male boss was an investment banker, and the
Mm.
wife was a stay-at-home mom. So what I would do, she'd take care of one, I take care of the other. And
Okay.
when she go out, I take care of the two. So So what happened was that when the kids were growing up, nursery, they would go to school and I would be left home. So then I would start cleaning the house, you know. And then my boss would say, my lady boss, okay, so I would be left home, and so I would clean the house. And then my boss would say, "What are you doing?" I said, "My children are in school, so I'll clean the house." He says, "No, don't do that. You you don't do that. We have cleaning ladies. Don't do that." So I said, okay. So my kids would be out from 7 to about noon. 8 to noon. That's about 4 hours. So then I go out to the garden. I would start watering the plants. I would do this. I would do that. And then she'd come out and she says, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm just watering the plants, picking the, dead leaf." And she says, "Don't do that." I said, "Why?" "We have gardeners. Let them do their work." And so they had asked, what do you want me to do? She go to your room and sleep. I said, oh, what a nice job. So then my kids would come, and then I would, my kids would come from school, and then I'd put them to nap, and then I'd feed them. I'd let them play in the afternoon and then feed them. And that was my day as a
Mm.
nanny for 8 years. That was what I did. So what did I do during those lapses?
Yes.
I had so many things to do. I was online. I took children's literature. I took photography. So I have so many certificates. You know, the
Uh-huh.
quest for learning was always there.
Mhm.
You know, and then after that, after 8 years, I said, um, I love my job because my bosses were so good and the boys were so nice. But there was something lacking in me. So I had to say, I had to say, I have to leave. So
Mhm.
my boss was very sad and she says, I wanted you to stay until my kids would have graduated and married. I said, I can't
Yeah.
do that. But anyway, from that time on, I was still part of their family. So I stayed with my husband. I lived in New York. I was galibanting like that, like that. Yeah, kinanglan naman sa kong trabaho. I needed again another job. So I said, okay, what do I do? Then somebody called me up, a friend. Sabi niya, Banet, do you have work? I said, no, I don't have work. And she says, do you need work? I said, yeah, I think I do because I'm running out of money. Yeah, yeah, give me work. And she says, somebody is looking for a caregiver. I said, oh, caregiver this time. All right. So I said, okay, I'll try. I'll try to. I only watch three old women when I was in California with my brother on my first few months when I came to the States because
Mhm.
my brother had an assisted living. So I only watched that and then I didn't have any experience. But I had a certificate. You know me, I also like to do certificates. So I had a certificate in elderly care. My
Mhm.
brother had to let me take it. It was only for about 3 days. So he says, if you're gonna stay with me for the assisted living, even just for substitute, you have to take this class. So I took the class. I had a certificate, but I only stayed with him for 3 months because I was already planning to go to New York where my son was gonna stay.
Uh-huh.
So that was my thing. So this time in New York, somebody said that, do you can you work for her? I said, sure. This is her number. So I called her up and she said, you come, I need to interview you. So I said, okay. So I went for the interview. The apartment was beside the United Nations. Okay. So I went to the up to the floor. Taas kayo to siya. So I sat down and had my interview. And then she asked me, have you had taken have you taken care of the elderly? I said, yes, I had uh
California.
in California, but it was a short stint. I said, never mind, because most of my caregivers here are Filipinos. It's a 24-hour job, but I was only supposed to do 8. So 8, and then the rest would be what do you call this? The rest would be at night for other
Right.
Filipinos. So it's 24 hours. So anyway, she said, can you start in 2 weeks? I said, yes, I can. But before that, I asked her, what does your husband do? And then she was taken aback. She said, my husband is a good businessman. He is a very, what do you call this, talented businessman. I said, okay,
Mhm.
fine. So she said, in 2 weeks, if you can start, I'd like to have you. So I said, okay. So I was kind of scared. Okay, who is this I am going to work for? So I
Uh-huh.
Googled. Diba ka Google.
Yeah.
So, pag-Google na ako, I almost fell off my chair. Tingon din ko, oh, what? This is the person I'm going to watch? And his name was Cy Newhouse. He is the owner of Bon Appetit, 19 magazines, Bon Appetit, GQ, all of these
Wow.
mag all of these magazines. And
Mm.
I said, wow, and she is such a very humble person, the one who interviewed me, the madam.
Uh-huh.
So from that time on, I what you call is took care of him. I only do weekends. I didn't do the whole 5 days. I only
Yeah.
did 2 or 3 days, or
Mhm.
2 days only, Saturday and Sunday, because um Saturdays and Sundays were relaxed days. These were the days that what I would do is just accompany them to galleries, galleries in New York, private showings of, they were avid enthusiasts of paintings and sculptures.
Wow,
So with the
nice.
in his house, very nice. Siguro, the the place is so simple, but it was filled with uh what they call this works of Warhol and all of those
Mhm.
big names, which I am so ignorant, I don't know. But when I ask, what's this with the other caregiver, she says,
Caregivers.
"Oh, kana mao ni sila ko, wa mo ko kalibot, ignorante man ko ana mga tani." But I got to learn more about this artist, and I was very happy.
Mhm.
And then during the summer, we would go to their summer house, near the Hamptons.
Mm.
And then they had a summer house. They had three houses in Belport. One was for the guest house. One was the real house for the madam and sir, and the third was just an office. But it was a house, very nice. So um we would go there during the summer, and then she would entertain and they would have guests, and I would rub shoulders also with because they're very secretive and they're very exclusive, but they had guests that were well known. And one
Mhm.
of them was, which I don't know, have no idea, was Anna Wintour. I don't know her from Adam. I don't know, but was, oh, that's Anna Wintour. Who is she? I'm just from the boondocks of Cebu. She's the fashion mogul ko, no, of New York. And then
Wow.
I would get pictures of Isabella Rossellini like that. And at one time I told Mrs. Newhouse, I said, Mrs. Joss, can I get a picture with Mrs. They have a sense of privacy which you have to respect. So
Mhm.
before you do anything, I
Mm.
have to ask her, I have to ask her permission, I have to do this. And she's very respectful also. And we respect her so much. She's a very humble lady. So
Mm.
she said, okay, give me your camera. I'll take a picture of the two of you. So she got my camera and she got the picture. And that was what I had with Isabella Rossellini. But
Mhm.
of course, because of my boss, who died after 3 years of, no, 2 years, I think,
Mhm.
he died. And then after that, so we had to take care of the madam. And then I said, okay, I need to resign as a caregiver. Kay wala man siya, no?
Wala na.
Wala.
Wow.
So she says, who told you you're going to resign? No, I want you to be my housekeeper in, the near the Hamptons is
Mhm.
leaving me. So can you be the one to take care? You don't have to be there every day. I said, oh, you just have to go there once or anytime, as long as you keep the house clean.
Mm.
So murag akong time ba?
Yeah.
So I said, "Oh, okay." So and by then I would be serving her every time she goes there.
Mhm.
So I did. And then of course, you know me, the spirit in me, I said, I can't have this job because I have to move on. So then
Right.
it was really a pain to see resign from her because she's such a nice person. One
Right.
of the most humble person I've ever seen. I don't know, but I'm so blessed with having good employers.
Yes.
The
Mhm.
one from the investment banker who's not snooty or whatever, very down to earth, and from this lady who is owner of an empire. So
Mhm.
then I said I had to go. So now I was jobless again. Then jobless again. So while I was pala nanny, in my times I would write a blog. I was writing for 8 years. I was writing and I put it in the blog post. So I
Mhm.
had about 10 years of blogging. And I'd
Mhm.
get nice reviews. And then so in one of the seminars, because I attended a seminar for writing seminar, I met a friend. Her name's Marivia Montemon. So we became very good friends. And finally she says, Day, kanang gusto pa mo eskwela, Day? I said,
Oh.
"Oo, mo eskwela, di na ako mo eskwela."
Oh,
Then
she's
siya,
from Cebu too? Is she
she's
from
from
Cebu?
she used to be a writer for Freeman. So
Oh,
I
okay.
met her in the seminar of writers.
Okay.
So when I became her friend, that's the time she said, "Gusto ka mo eskwela? Dahil eskwela lang dai. Kundi ko ay. Wa ko'y unsa ni I have no desire for it." But then I had to pray for it. I
Mm.
said, Lord, unsa man ni, what are you going to do? It's not in my bucket list. But the passion came into me. So she said, I told Maribir, I said, Maribir, kanang, ko kwarta. siya mo provide lagi. So it was provided. Ingunan ko, dili man ko pastor material. So this is not about pastoring. This is about opening your mind to the world of religion. Ingon, you don't have to be a Catholic, a Christian, or whatever, because this encompasses religious studies.
Oh,
So
okay.
you study different religions, you talk about the world like that. So when I started school, I didn't know anything. But when I started to step on it and learn about it, you know, the questioning desire in me started to unfold. So then I started to question, more the any man. So that started the whole thing until I finished my masteral. That was a masteral degree program. And I finished it. So when we finished it, that was the time when pandemic started. At the height of pandemic na, pag-graduate na mo, we graduated online. So we were with suits, but when we were seated down, that was pajamas because online, nobody would sit down, everybody would sit up.
That's what I'm wearing right now in the bottom part of pajama.
Yeah, di ba?
Oh.
So that's how we got our diplomas online. So finally ma-review siya niya, unsa naman ta diri, lockdown man, di man ta kabuhat og anything. So she says, diretso tag doctorate. Ko, ha?
Oh.
Mag-doctorate na sa da. Siya, unsa man da ita, di man ta kalakaw. So then we had to what do you call it? Apply for doctorate. So that was the start of our doctorate, and then pag wa na ang lockdown, we had to continue it na lang because it was a 2-year program. So we had to finish it, and we had to do our dissertation. We had to do a lot of research until I finished it. So you see, my it's a roller coaster ride. Life is a roller coaster ride. Sometimes you're up, sometimes you're down. You're up again, you're down. But it's always good that America gave me experiences.
What was your dissertation about? What did you write about?
Okay. This is interesting. My dissertation is about resolving Filipino conflicts arising from intergenerational inheritances. Which meant, when I started this, I said, paano ko yung ministry? Si Marivir sa journalist naman siya, kaya siya journalist. All the rest, all of my classmates were either pastors, chaplains, or they were officers of their church or something like that. Kami, our ministry was different. It was a meaningful ministry. We didn't have to be part of an organization. But one of the professors was asking me, what do you mean by family ministry? Because I put their family ministry.
Okay.
So this is a project of, this will be an ongoing project. It doesn't have to end here, but it is an ongoing project to be able to have awareness about intergenerational families. No, and then every time I talk to a Filipino, even in the subway, no, I get to know them like that. They're new to me. Then I would ask them, sometimes Tagalog pagali. Sabi ko, meron ba kayong lupa sa Pilipinas? Siya meron. Meron kayong problema? Siya, ang dami. They would say that. So, 90% of those I talk to, na yes, we do have problems. Even though how little our property is, yes, we have problems. And that started me rolling onto, okay, why is it like that? Because you must remember that the Filipinos have been colonized 3 times. From the Spaniard, the Americans, and even the Japanese. And then we started as a tribal where there were ownership we shared resources, but then colonization started to get our land. It became so complicated, even until today. Families of generations have problems. And even today, because of the administration changing the rules from one to the other, it becomes more complicated. Now it's even harder because it's more strict in the Philippines.
Yes.
So that's why when I started doing my dissertation, I got more interested into what really is the cause of all of this, you know? And then you equate it because my school is an interfaith school, you know, that deals with a lot of religions. My best friends was a Muslim and a Jew. So that was those are my when we have differing ideologies and different ways, right? So that is more interesting rather than just being in business. No, I think I'd like to deal more in humanities, in understanding why we believe what we believe, and all of these things. So, kana mo, that inspired in me. That was the burning desire in me to know more,
Mhm.
especially about Filipinos.
Wow, what a story. Amazing. Grabe, eh. I mean, just listening to
Right.
you. You
Yeah.
basically answered a lot of my questions without even asking, because I was gonna ask you, did you struggle when you first came here? Why did you go to the US? And because all of us went through kanang survival mode ba? Happy
Survival mode.
Filipino immigrant, not only Filipino immigrants, almost
Survival mode.
every immigrants from every country, went
Yes.
through that, and then how they, and how it affected their life, and then later on, unsay nahitabo silang kinabuhi bitaw. And
Yeah.
then you hit all the points right there.
Yes.
I mean, without me even asking anything.
That's why after this, after ba iko, kani akong pag humanin ako akong humanon lang din ako akong doctorate, I'm going to compile a list.
Mm.
I had 15 years of writing. So I
Yes.
have a list about starting, what are my jobs? Takhan kay jobs. I
Mm.
started as a nursery teacher. I was a caregiver. I was a caterer. I was
Yeah.
a photographer. All of this. And well, at that time, master of that. I was an exporter. So
Right.
I was a secretary. So all of this, I have stories to tell. And I was
Yes.
always telling people, I'm a storyteller.
Yes,
So
you
I
are.
like to tell this, and I like to make jokes and all of this. And I want to tell them that nothing is impossible. And then when I was talking to my husband, I said, "Love, mauwa man ko ani ko mauwa mo ka daghan man ni congratulate nga. Anybody can be a doctor." Ingon ni siya, "Are you kidding me? You're almost 70, you're going to be a doctor. You became a
Exactly.
doctor, you're almost 70." Sabi
That's
ko, "Oh,
that's one of the
so I
questions I was gonna ask you at your age, because I'm late 60s now too. We're probably the same age, I'm not sure.
yeah,
But
we're probably the same
anyway,
age.
you're still going to school, after, I mean, after that, di ba, kapoy na ka, I mean, I wanna, ang education is always there with you, I mean,
Yes,
with us,
yes,
we're always reading books, we're always,
yes.
watching something, we're always learning. Pero
Yes.
going to school and, because naman pressure good going to school, and, I
Lagi ko
mean,
is
writing
a
your
lot of
dissertation, that's a
pressure.
big pressure right there, And
Yeah.
ako kay nang, that you have to humanon
Yeah, you have
bitaw.
to study. Labi na
Yeah.
na ako'y professor. Na, one of my classes was between 6 in the afternoon, 6 in the evening to 9. So
Mhm.
we were not yet online. So we would sit down there. Babi akala side na nga magsige istorya ang ganiri makatulog ka makaana. Sus di man jud ta. I remember Marivia was going like that, going like that, ba? She going like that. And then she was told by the professor, "Are you all right?" And Maribel said, "Yeah, yeah, I'm okay." And then one of my classmates also did the same thing. What he did was said, "Okay, can you stand up and wash your face and come back again, please?"
Yeah.
So we had to stay sharp,
Yes.
because sometimes when you are in a doctor class or masteral, I started masteral there. If your purpose is to learn, then you have to learn. You
Exactly.
know,
Okay.
you're paying your school to give you all the information, and when you get it, you have to read again because this is important. It's
Yes.
very easy lang to sige, put it on the side. And then one of the nice things that I like in school, going back to school, is when you talk,
Mhm.
when you collaborate with your friends. That we always have to agree to disagree, especially religion. When it
Yes.
comes to religion,
Yeah.
you f- we don't fight, we argue. And
Mhm.
then we say, okay,
Okay na.
this is what Christianity does. And then my other friend would say, oh, our Muslim Chani would do this way. And then the Jew would say again, oh, in ours is like this. But then when you talk around, what is the commonality of that? That
Sa
is what we do. Same
Yeah.
thing with same thing with conflicts within the family. Mo
Mhm.
siya paborito man gud na siya ni mama. Kani usa, oh, ako may nagbayad sa eskwelahan. Ano ba? But then what is the commonality of the family? What should you value most? Things
Right.
like that ba? Karon in this time and age, what we value most is kwarta naman.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to, okay, in my dissertation, I found out, because tabantas Amerika, naalain ang Pilipinas. Ang Amerika, muhatag og kwarta
Mm.
sa mama because may sakit, like that. And then after that, ang dito sa Pilipinas ni bantay sa ilang mama.
Mm.
So dili sila katrabaho kay ni bantay man.
Mm.
Karon napatay ang mga ginikanan. Mag-away sa inheritance. O ako'y naghatag sa ako sa'y nagbantay. Nag-away na rin noon. Instead
Yes.
of coming to a conclusion na what can we do best to help this family? Not only about me, not only about you, but the whole family as we were in the beginning.
Yes,
As the
exactly.
beginning, not as we are
Exactly.
in the end.
Yeah.
As in the beginning. So we have left values out of
Mhm.
our family system. The values that were taught is no longer there.
Mhm.
So I'm thinking, why nga nung ana man? So that is the core of my dissertation. I have brought some insights and some, but my dissertation does not stop on my report.
Yes.
My dissertation starts in a project to share and get to know more because lahi ba ang generation before us today. It
Mhm.
always changes. That's why there's the Gen Z, the baby boomers, ang mindset ana mulahi. So
Mhm.
before we can resolve, we have to check on the mindset. Kaya
Mhm.
karon mo kag Gen Z nimo, how do you find if you get what do you call this inheritance? Here in the States, mga siya, well, I'll just make my own money. Araw-araw ko di ko ganagsamok. Ang
Yeah.
ang ang uban gali mo ingon na kung mo inherit kog samok, inyo na lang. Mo
Yeah.
ana, di ba?
Yeah.
So there are many things to consider.
Mm.
So many things to consider, and you have to know the family very well
Okay.
before doing that.
That was
So
the question I was gonna ask you because you nakahuman na ka na naka-doctorate. What is your plan? I mean, well, your school is over now. You're done. I
that's
mean,
what I said. That's
in
why
the formal setting, ha? Pero of course,
ito,
we're always learning. Pero unsa na next
oh,
step nimo ron? Unsa na may buhaton nimo? Plano?
manang nitawa akong tiya na ako the other day. Siya, oh, what will you do? What now that you have now that you have finished? Sabi ko, tita, before, when everything was not, I didn't think about any dissertation. I wanted to be a researcher or an employee of United Nations because they look for PhDs. They look for researchers. They look for, anybody that who holds a PhD. And PhD is a broader it gives you a more advantageous hold rather than a master's, right? Kay PhD ko ka, so naa kay diploma na mas higher than a master's. So mas
Yes.
dako yung chances.
Mhm.
So I said, I wanted to do that. As a matter of fact, my friend gave me siya day, kanang nangita sila o kanang sa Holy See, sa UN, secretary lang yun, but of the Holy See, which means the Holy See sa UN it works with the Vatican. Sabi ko, that's a good, nice opportunity. But I said, no, I will not apply because I am going back to the Philippines because we have, there is, as I said, I have a mission to finish. A
Okay.
mission to finish na I want to also to educate people because some of the people here in the States are having problems also when it comes to their intergenerational inheritances. I have
Mhm.
a lawyer here who is willing to, who is part of my team and another journalist on the other side who wants to educate. I don't want to force anybody kay naraba dito sa Facebook na kaning mga taga-PhD, kay abi doctorate sila, they are enforcing the rules of what they learn. I said, no, I don't think that's what doctorates or those who finish the doctorate of ministry or whatever doctorate, MBA or whatever, will enforce it on people. They don't say, you do this because ang America, is very, is very adept, is successful, so therefore the Filipinos should also do it.
Mhm.
I don't think that's the way you should think. Lahi
Yeah.
ba yan Amerikano? Lahi ang Pilipino.
Mhm.
Mo na mag-away mo. Mo na, ang mga Amerikano na himong Filipino diri, moingon sila, why can't you do this? Why can't you put an LLC there so that you can have, you can create that there will be no shares of stock that everybody, we do not have an LLC in the Philippines. You have to know the culture of the Philippines. You have to know everything what's happening. You Filipinos who are in the States, you have already adapted to the American way. That is different from the Filipino. Maybe we learn English, but Filipino culture and American culture are two different things.
Mhm.
So you have to go back to what we are thinking, how we are thinking. You
Yes.
know? It's like that bitaw. So, pag nalahi na bata, we have to look for that sense of value. If you're talking about the Filipino way, what's the
Right.
sense of value? You
Net,
know?
net, maputol ta karong in 3 minutes, okay? Kay kaning Zoom ko 40 minutes ra.
An
So
hour?
maputol ta. Yeah. So nala ko'y question ni mo ron kay usually I ask all the people I interview kanang what do you want to say to the young people, especially Filipinos na just starting, kanang just like what you did who went to doctorate, unsa may mga advice nimo mahatag nimo nila for the younger Filipinos?
Learn as much as you can and
Okay.
apply,
Okay.
because education will always be different from now, and
Okay.
then a few years from now, it will be different. Whatever you learn, education will never end. It will always be there. And when you find that fits you, go for it.
Okay. Okay.
Wala
So
siya.
ang one thing I've learned in life, ako ning kaugalingon na is kanang pag-eskwela, sometimes hindi ka kibaw ba, why do you have to go to school or do all this stuff, Pero actually, it's the mindset na you wanna learn, mga learning
Learn.
stuff na masuod nimo bitaw. Because once you're done with school, you don't stop.
Passion of inquiry. You have to have that passion of inquiry. Why,
Exactly.
where, when, how, and get the facts. Because without facts, there's no truth. Without
Yeah.
truth, there is no trust. That's Maria Reza's words. Without fact, there's no truth. Without truth, there's no trust.
Kinsa ni? Who said that?
Maria Reza, Filipina,
Maria
rappler.
Reza.
She's
Oh, okay.
she taught for Harvard. She's here in the States. She's going around talking about how to topple a dictator. Her new book.
Oh, is she the one?
She's a
The
Filipina.
Okay, yeah, she's in murag problema siya sa Pilipinas, like they're gonna put her
Yes.
in jail or something.
Yes. She
Yeah,
had
she's
to ask the
amazing.
Supreme Court. Yes. She had
She's
to ask the
amazing.
to be able to come here. She's
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah. Turn crisis into opportunity. That's what she says.
Yes.
So, what I learned from her, what she was saying, truth, facts, and trust.
Mhm.
Or facts, trust, and truth. And
Yeah.
then crisis and opportunity. Be vulnerable. Because that's the time now you will know.
Amazing.
Like that. So,
Yeah,
educators.
yeah, we're running out of time, pero God, I wanted to talk to you about your writing, kay grabe kayo nga
Yeah,
really mga short nimo sa Facebook. Magbasa ko, man, she's really a good writer. And I tell you right now, I have a sister. She already wrote 3 books, and it's